There it is. God damn it. That's tough. This shit's hard sometimes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alpha Bro Show. I'm your host, the big bearded bastard, Travis Jones. I have with me the Dongle, and his mic's muted. There we go. What's up? What you got there? What you drinking on?
What is it? Jack Daniel's rye, the same shit I've had for like the last 4 weeks.
I think you need to drink more.
It's almost gone.
Is it? Oh, okay. Well, it only took you a month to drink a bottle. Bottle around here lasts about a week.
I only drank for this show, man. That's it.
And we were absent last week, so
yeah, so we got an extra weekend. Yeah. But we got a lot of shit sorted out. So
yeah, we did. So we did take last week off, guys, as you well know, to get some topics in the hopper. Get them scheduled out. We are on Tuesday, which we do normally do Wednesday, but Josh has to work tomorrow at the firehouse, so we always move it up a day if we can. Sometimes we move it back a day, but it's typically moved up a day. But Wednesday is normally our day. So Wednesday, 7 o'clock, write it down, or Tuesday. But if you follow social media links at Facebook and Instagram, I try to let you know as soon as I can and get some promotional stuff out, which I did do today because I didn't realize that we were doing a Tuesday show until the other day.
Oh, you didn't know?
Like, yeah, I thought we said Wednesday.
We did last week, but then we decided not to do it. So that's probably why you was thinking Wednesday.
So we should have talked about that when we were talking about topics for the show.
No, we did right at the end. We were like, what about next show? And I was like, I think I'll work Wednesday. And then we said we'd text on it, and we never text.
Gotcha.
So yeah, here we are, though. We made it.
We're here. So what is the Alpha Bro Show? For you guys that are new to the show, why was my... Damn it, my drinking horn's not sitting level. I guess, and you made it like a real drinking horn if you're like a Viking.
Yeah, so
like fucking whittling your own fucking drinking horn. Probably wouldn't be very even, would it?
That had to be sitting on like a slab of wood that wasn't level, probably with an axe wound in it.
I bet they spilled a lot of beer back then. Think they did?
Was it beer? What do they call it? Grog?
Ale.
Mead. That's it. Mead. I got a girl at the firehouse. Her girlfriend makes mead.
Shut up.
Swear to God, no, she does.
Why don't we have any?
Maybe they don't share. I don't know. I hadn't asked. I don't know.
Are you just saying that because it's two women in a relationship and you just think they're all selfish? Or do you look at all women that way?
You made a good point, but no, I wasn't thinking that. Yeah, mead is not beer. Holy shit. This guy's calling us all the time. What is mead then? Huh?
It's just mead, right?
I don't know what the fuck it is. I know it got people drunk.
Is so technically, I guess it's not because of the fermentation process that beer goes through. Mead doesn't go through the same fermentation process.
Honey, yeast, and water.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
So what's beer? Hops?
I don't know. I don't drink that shit.
I think it's more hoppy, more wheat than yeast.
Yeah.
Mead actually sounds delicious. So
yeah, the word mead makes it sound good. Maybe because it sounds more like meat.
Yeah,
meat.
I need a restaurant called Meat and Mead.
The meaty mead.
I've actually started using, because I'm trying to get away from artificial sweeteners, because I am a conspiracy theorist and I think that artificial sweeteners like aspartame and all that are giving everybody fucking brain diseases like fucking Alzheimer's and shit. I swear to God, I think if you look at the correlation between brain related disorders and the invention of artificial sweeteners, I think there's a fucking direct correlation. But I'm not going to do the science on it because I don't care. But what I have done is I've getting rid of artificial sweeteners out of my diet. So I've started substituting honey in my coffee instead of sweet and low.
How's that?
It's fucking good. But I'm going through a shit ton of honey, and local honey ain't fucking cheap. Let me tell you. So
why's it gotta be local? Is that just supposed to be better for you for the allergens and all that shit?
It is. That is one reason. For another reason, you want to support local, right?
I ain't got time. I just go to Kroger and buy the little bear. No, I ain't got time to go to a market. And
so they sell local honey at Kroger.
Oh, do they?
Yep. Bees Brothers. That's a local. They're out on Shelbyville Road. That's a local. What do you call it? Bee factory? No, it ain't that. It's where they make the fucking bee factory. I don't know.
Bee factory. Yeah.
Local honey means you don't have to worry about it being authentic. Do not know what that means and whatsoever. Like, I mean, so
I think I've read where the honey that they sell isn't like really honey. It's like basically like it's like watered down shit. It's like getting fentanyl instead of meth. You know, like
that's a good comparison.
They're cutting it.
They're going to get that comparison.
Yeah, they're cutting it. Yeah, so that's what I've read. That's my honey expertise anyway.
Yeah, mine too. Trust me, I have no idea. I just know I like it in my coffee now, and I'm putting it in my tea. So I'm on this tea kick now too.
You
really
put,
helps me sleep.
You put cinnamon in there in your
what's that?
Cinnamon. You put that in your coffee too?
I have before. Cinnamon's fucking fantastic for you. But I like my coffee more chocolatey than honey.
This is sounding less and less like an Alpha Bro show.
I know it.
The more you talk about tea
like Metro Beta male shows, what this is. Oh, look, he gave us a link even to fake honey problems and how it works. Look at this guy. Man, he's all over it.
Shit. Yeah, man. Anyway,
everybody else in the chat, please.
we got like 17 comments all from Jason, right? Is that Jason?
I fucking started anything, huh?
Yeah, we haven't even gone to intro yet.
Yeah. So, what is the Alpha Bro show about other than stupid shit that y'all start the show with? So Josh and I feel like males, and maybe after this conversation you just listened to, are rightly coming under attack and have been coming under attack for a long time. We just feel like there's a lot of manly traits that are traits to be aspired to. And the Alpha Bro show kind of talks about some of those traits. And so today's show, we're going to talk about a very, very important trait. And Josh and I are actually talking about creating a pillars of alphaness, if you will. We're going to come up with a better name for it than that. But I would say that strength and fitness is going to be one of the building blocks of the pillars because it is that important.
Yeah,
to being a man, to being anybody really, but a man really needs to
yeah, it's probably honestly the foundation.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That confidence, being self-assured, those two are going to be they're really going to go hand in hand. So so strength and fitness. And Josh and I got on the topic because of kind of what I've been training for damn near 30 years. So I'm really and now I'm at the point of my physical fitness career that I'm switching gears a little bit because I identified a problem in something that I was doing and I needed to fix it. So it caused me to alter my training a little bit and get more into functional fitness. I know some people hate that.
But it wasn't a problem until it was, right? So I mean, what you were doing was working for what you were doing at that time. Now that you've expanded and gotten into shooting and moving and communicating and all that kind of stuff, you've realized you had a deficiency and it's time to change some things up, right? So
yeah, for sure. So like, you know, Josh and I are both 20 plus year firemen, and you know, I never had an issue with my physical fitness on the job. And if I had I may have gotten into more of the CrossFit realm, which for firefighting, I do think has a very important role. You need cardiovascular conditioning, you need some endurance, but my strength, no matter what company I was on, always set me apart. Especially when I got on a truck company and I was able to handle chainsaws and breach doors easily. I could use an axe, a sledgehammer, to where someone may need another tool or another body. My strength was always, you know, pulling ceilings or whatever it was. You know, it never affected me. So I never changed the way I trained because I didn't feel like I needed to. But now I'm doing something different. And again, like Josh said, I noticed the deficiency and I'm like, man, I need to be in better cardiovascular shape. I'm 245 pounds. So as you can imagine, 245 don't move like 185, 190. And I'm not trying to get that mobile. I'm not trying to get that kind of a like triathlete endurance, but a 245 pound guy that can move decently, that is a little more mobile, he's a bad motherfucker. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, is, you know, more of a, you know, a special operations type mobility with my type of strength. I think that's a pretty good package. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was looking up this guy, Tony. Have you heard of him? Tony's, I'll look it up here in a minute.
Soprano?
Huh?
Tony Soprano?
No.
Stark.
No, you'll know who I'm talking about. I can't even pronounce his last name, so I don't know why. He's a big dude and moves really well. He's in the shooting community.
Talking about
Tony something. Starts with an S. I can't remember his name. I'm looking.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, yeah, I totally agree. Like, you know, I don't have the history like of lifting like you do. You know, you competed in bodybuilding, you know, you played basketball, you know, several other athletic things, fought the tough man and lost. Few other things, you know. You always have this out. You always have this out. Go ahead, explain.
I lost a split decision to a 3-time winner.
Yeah.
He was a buddy of mine too.
Well, he won that. He won that year too, right?
What's that?
He won that year as well.
He won that year. He went on to win. Yeah.
But do you think you could have beat everybody else and it'd have been you and him at the end?
Absolutely. Fuck yeah.
We'll never know, huh?
Well, what's fucked up about that, and you know, we don't have to get into it very deeply, but it still bothers me. Anytime you lose, it bothers you, it sticks with you. We fought the first fucking round. So not only was that a fuck up on the promotions part, and we knew the promoter, by the way, which Kelly Mays, you suck my dick, motherfucker. You fucked that all up. We had, I don't know how many firemen. It was the last event at Louisville Gardens, the last sporting event at Louisville Gardens. Louisville Gardens is a fucking storage facility now. And we had a couple hundred firemen alone just to see my fight. And Jim Malinowski, the Falcon, he had won this event a couple different times. We were good friends. I'll never forget, you know, we're back warming up with each other, you know, watching the fights, you know, we're talking, we're doing a little sparring, getting warm. And then, you know, you don't know when you're fighting until they call your name.
Yeah.
You know, Travis Jones is up next, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, Falcon was like, all right, motherfucker, let's get it. Let's do it. You know, so he and I over fucking bro hugging and fucking getting hyped up and shit. And his opponent, a 3-time winner of this event, Jim the Falcon Malinowski. And I looked at him, and he was drinking some water, and he took his water and goes, motherfucker, and slung it across the whole venue.
He didn't know he was fighting too at that point.
No, we didn't know who we were fighting. I guess we always thought we could have fought each other, but he and I were kind of like, I don't know. Since it was my first event, I think I was like maybe a dark horse favorite. Jim was obviously a favorite, but people were wanting to see us later on, not in the first fucking round. And you know what happened after I got beat? 200 firemen didn't come back the next night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they fucked up. They could have really built it up.
We had another fireman in that fight too, didn't we? Yeah. I thought we did. Yeah. No, it was entertaining. It was fun. I just thought I'd bring it up.
It was fun. And me and Jim, he's a great guy, man. And he's always like, dude, I don't know, man. I still think so. Everybody says I won the first round. He won the second round. Third round couldn't win either way. But I'll never forget, he hit me so hard in that second round. I remember thinking, oh my God, you can't go down. Like, you cannot go down. If I was, I would probably had what did we have on 2 or 3 years at that time on the fire department?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Can you imagine if I got knocked out?
Yeah, it was definitely under
20 years. Oh my
funny.
God, it's brutal. But I just remember thinking, you cannot go down. You cannot go down. But Audrey says Tony Little. Is that the Tony you're talking about?
No, I got it here. It's Tony Sentmanat. 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 He's a big dude. I think he's like was a police officer, SWAT guy. He runs a thing. He runs a thing called Real World Tactical.
Real World Tactical. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah, he's a fucking beast.
Oh, dude. Yeah, he's the epitome of a big guy moving efficiently.
Yes.
Like, he's a freak.
He's a freak.
Yeah,
he can run, jump.
You or me could train forever and not be able to move like that guy.
Right. Yeah. He's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But anyway, so my background, is not in lifting so much, but I think he made a comment in the comments about lifting lumber limbs should be enough cardio. And it was. I mean, I was cutting trees, my entire first 12, 15 years on the fire department, every day. So climbing up and down trees, but I still lifted too, not consistently, but enough. And it was always trained, not like a bodybuilder like you did, but just kind of for strength, so I was in and out pretty quick. And, I've always been pretty strong for my size, but hell, we weigh the same. I'm 240. We're slightly proportioned a little bit different, but well, I weigh the same. Huh?
So it's slightly.
Yeah, slightly. But I've been training, pretty much my whole life too, in and out of the gym. So it's not like I'm ignorant on this topic, but I am pretty one-dimensional in lifting. So we can get into that.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about today is, I said maybe strength and fitness show where we had talked about saying strength versus fitness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand. I think it's a very fine line. And I know I know where you stand on it. So won't you tell them how important you think strength is, I guess?
Yeah. Well, we even said with the pillars, strength, I think, is the foundation for any other movement, skill, competency, anything else that you want to do, be it, confidence, bravery, or, shooting skills or whatever. Strength is always going to help. So, and the thing about strength is it takes a long time to build up a respectable amount of strength.
Foundation
of strength. Yeah. Somewhere where you can, where you're moving weight for your size that is, reasonably strong. You're up at the top levels of your strength ability. And I think that the majority of your training should be focused on strength, not necessarily fitness.
Sure.
Not to say that once you get your strength to that point, because I think me and I know me, I kind of leveled out at just being strong. And I know a few fires that I, came off of, I was always like, man, I need to start running or something, I mean, but my strength always got me through because, in our job, we move large, heavy objects, short distances, raise a ladder, take a break, move somewhere else, pull some cylinders, do some activity. So it's kind of like powerlifting where you're exerting yourself all out for a minute, taking a break, moving and doing something else. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think that base for me got me through, I mean, till now. I mean, but my age, I think, is catching up with me too. Hell, I'm 45. You're slightly older than that, but
slightly.
Yeah. So, I'm starting to feel that a lot more. So switching up some things is probably in my future as well. Just trying to get
that was another reason that, I did this. It was, I turned 49 in March. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you for telling me I don't look that old. I have an app on my
Nobody
computer.
Nobody said that.
You talk. I can hear them. You can. I have the app.
Yeah, nobody said that.
But cardiovascular conditioning, of course, is a great combatant to cardiovascular disease, which is a fucking huge killer. It ain't mass shootings, no matter what Biden tells you. It ain't mass shootings. Don't happen every day, like he said, but people die of heart attacks every day. I actually just had a good friend that I played college basketball with. We found out Saturday night. He's younger than me. I think we determined he's around 47, 48. Had a heart attack, dropped dead.
Too young. It's too young, man.
Too young. Now, granted, he had picked up some weight as he gotten older. So the bottom line is your health is paramount. Looking great on the beach and looking great in the gym, or if you're a competitive bodybuilder, whatever you do, looking great is important for our self-esteem. Okay, I don't want to discount because, I have a CrossFit buddy that me and him go back and forth all the time. Sean, Josh knows Sean. He's a firefighter as well. Big CrossFitter, has been for years. He's in fantastic shape. But we go back and forth on training and, now you would never mistake him for a bodybuilder.
No. I'm not even sure you'd mistake him for a CrossFitter.
Right. Exactly. But he's big into it. He has been for years. But I feel like that's important too, because a lot of people are going to discount bodybuilding training. Now, so my training now consists of where it was totally bodybuilding centric, isolation, strength movements, stuff like that. Now I'm doing a day of, I call it functional fitness exercise. I'll never call it CrossFit because I'm not a CrossFitter. I'm a functional fitnesser is what I like to call myself. So I'm doing those type of training every other day. Like today, I did it today. Tomorrow will be a typical bodybuilding workout, those type of movements. That way I keep my strength. I keep my base, but I'm starting to branch out and do other shit. So, I feel like that's important to, especially as I get older. It's important to my self-esteem, to not look like I'm 50. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's I don't want to say it's a goal. I had a guy in the gym actually ask me, it's been a few weeks ago now. He asked me, I was doing upright rows, and he was asking me what that worked. He obviously hadn't been in the gym very much. He was of Middle Eastern descent, but his English was pretty good. And so I'm explaining to him what I'm doing, and he asked me what my goal was, which I thought was an interesting question. He's like, what is your goal now? What is your goal? And I went, my goal? He went, yes. What is your goal now? And I went, because I hadn't really thought about it because I've been doing it so long, right? I used to compete. I don't compete anymore. So what's my goal? And I said, I just want to look good naked. And he went,
let's see.
Oh, look good naked. Yes. And I went, yeah, man, I just want to look good naked, So, that's, I think that's important also as well. So,
well, I think that, but I think bodybuilders get more in the realm of like vanity, or not even vanity. That's kind of probably sounds negative, but I mean, where they get more particular, where it's like this body part is deficient compared to this body part. And I want my proportions to be, whereas if you're working out, it don't have to be a body. The look is going to come, no matter what you're doing. I mean, you're going to look good. You're going to feel good. I mean, hell, power lifters don't look healthy, but I mean, you gotta carry. What's that?
A lot of them ain't.
Well, you got to carry a little bit more fat. To be able to, move that heavy weight. You really do. It helps.
A lot of those guys they're falling off left and right for a lot of
reasons. There are other reasons for that too, though.
There is, but so we're not really touching about supplementation and diet this episode.
No,
but that is a huge thing as well. I don't want to discount that, and I don't want you to think we're just negating that. Like you can just go to the gym and do whatever you want and look how you want. That's not how it works.
Well, and I'm not a trainer either, and I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a guy with some opinions, and that's as far as this should go.
Right. Yeah. Again, we're not trying to change how you do things. What we're saying is we feel like strength and fitness is a key component in being a man. And if you're on this journey to improve yourself, okay, to go on this journey of being an alpha, then that is something that you need to have, that you have to have. We're not saying you need to be in a bodybuilding show. We're not saying you be in a CrossFit competition. We're not saying you need to run a 3K. What we're saying is you need to improve your level of physical fitness.
Hey, Mike, let Mike know. Hey, we're going to answer your question. I'm going to get back to it. You don't have to text about it. We'll get into it. He asked a question.
What did he ask?
Just how a guy of his age of 48 would get back into shape with limited time. I saw the comment, so I was going to address it a little bit, and I'm sure Travis has got some comments on that too.
Sure. We can do it now.
Yeah. Well, my opinion on that, not even for the guy that is, say a guy like you that has trained bodybuilding, and we talked about this earlier, trained bodybuilding for, 15 years. If he's never trained for strength, and he's ready to be functional, like you're saying, then you should almost, in my opinion, should take a step back and focus on strength first, because that's the first pillar of functional fitness or whatever the fuck they want to call it. What is functional anyway? Define that. Function is, what is your function? What are you doing as a living? What are you doing as a hobby? What is your goal? What is your function? So, if you just sit in a chair all day, you just got to be in shape for that. But, if you're out lifting heavy weights and also running 5Ks, then that's a different level that you're going to have to get to. You know what I mean? So my opinion, if a guy was going to start getting in shape or come back and want to kind of reassess his fitness, then I think a strength base is where it should start. And in my opinion, I ain't selling anything, but Starting Strength by Mark Ripito has probably been the best that I've ever seen come out. As far as strength, we're not really talking about like powerlifting and shit like that. We're talking about a base of strength. It's a little bit, his program's a little bit different. It's not like a meathead program. It's a pure strength program for, regular people from 80 years old to the 19-year-old athlete, whatever. But I think a strength base is where everything should start, and you shouldn't be doing anything else until you have a strength base, in my opinion. But
so what a lot of people want to do is, and I get this a lot, of this, is everybody wants to be big and ripped at the same time. Doesn't work that way. It's physiologically impossible. You can shed some body fat and replace it with lean muscle mass in the beginning. Okay. And that's another thing too, guys. Like if you're going on this journey and you've never been on one before, you're going to be fucking amazed at the gains that you make so quick.
You're novice.
What?
Yeah, it's that novice effect,
Yeah. Well, the beginner effect.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
You can, basically do anything as long as you're consistent and you're doing it to 100% of your capacity, you're going to see improvement, whether it's fat loss, whether it's strength gain, whether it's you're just looking better, your clothes feel better, which in turn gives you a more self-confident appearance. I mean, like, that's the reason this is so important to this goal that we've established for ourselves. Like, we want to be here, right? So it starts here, and there's so many things that come along with just a positive mindset. Training, you're going to sleep better. If you start eating better, you're going to feel better. If you just start training, you're going to feel better. So anaerobic as opposed to aerobic is actually even better for you in fat burn.
Loss. Yeah.
So, like, if people want to lose weight, you know, they think cardio. Not necessarily. You want, you know, anaerobic training, strength training is more productive for fat burning. Now, what's even better is if you do add some cardiovascular training to that. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do, especially when you're starting out. Now, when you hit that novice level, when you hit that expert level, even nothing works forever. So you're going to hit a plateau, you're going to hit a wall, and you're going to have to change your training somewhat. I was telling Josh earlier, you know, I feel, you know, I've accumulated some injuries, not a lot of injuries, knock on wood, because I'm so adamant about my stretching, my mobility, my warm up. I think it's kept me, you know, like they say, you know, an ounce of prevention or I'm sorry, how's it go? It's an ounce of prevention equals a pound of something. Fuck.
Shit. I don't know. I don't know, man.
So, like, you do a little bit as far as injury prevention goes, it's going to go a mile. Like, it doesn't take a lot. Okay, is that it? An ounce of prevention is equal to a pound of cure?
Sure.
I don't know if that's what they say in the fitness world, but it may be. It works. That works. So thank you. Yes, an ounce of prevention is equal to a pound of cure. So I mean, there's so many of these things that you can do that are going to improve your lifestyle, and that's kind of what Josh and I are talking about now. You know, strength is an important aspect of any type of physical fitness routine that you're going to go to. Like Josh said earlier, you know, I've, 30 years I've trained a strength base. Now that I'm getting into other things, that's done nothing but help me. You know what I mean? So, like he's saying, if I was to go into a fitness type of program first, not developing a strength base, I would not be as successful in that program without it.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no, you're going to be more successful at anything you do with a good strength base. You know, you're going to be a good runner, you know, if you're stronger. Like I mean, that's what strength is. It's the ability to produce force against an external resistance. I mean, that's what strength is. And that's what movement is, you know? So if you're stronger, you know, the better you're going to be at everything. So you're talking about though, like, what about like rep ranges? Like, because like for bodybuilding, you're focusing on hypertrophy. Like you're trying to get your muscle bigger. You may focus on like maybe trying to make that muscle belly more dense at certain times of the year or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a bodybuilder, so I'm kind of asking you. But your rep ranges are not typically within the strength rep ranges, which are 5 reps and below typically. Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the science on that's still kind of out. Because I mean,
but it's pretty widely accepted though, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so this is what I'll say to that. Like, I would agree to that. You're not going to find strongmen or powerlifters that are doing reps of 12. If I mean, they may do reps of 12 to just do reps of 12, but the foundation of their workout is going to be, you know, triples. They probably don't ever go over, you know, a rep range of 6.
Yeah,
But now, like, if you look at the science, like Charles Poliquin, who is probably one of the greatest strength minds we've ever had. I mean, he's, you know, they went out to him to get him to our Olympic team, and he declined. He's going to tell you that more strength is developed between 6 and 12, which is you're going to find bodybuilders that do 25 reps. Porter Cottrell, which I worked out with for 3 years, who was a professional bodybuilder here in Louisville, he would do 25 reps all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was kind of contrary to what I thought a bodybuilder, how he would train. But that's how Porter trained. And he was extremely competitive. You know, one of the greats in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, I think it's, again, it's about a look too, right? And like you said, you know, we're looking for muscular failure as a bodybuilder. You know, that's what you want. But if you look at the science, that's where more slow twitch muscle fiber, or slow twitch muscle fibers are developed, is in that range. Like not in that range, but in that period of hypertrophy, because you've damaged the muscle as far as it'll go. And your science has told us, if you go past that point, you're just delaying your recovery time. So, you know, again, I think it's, for what works for you is not going to work for me. What Porter did is not going to work for me. You know what I mean? And these are some of the great. Ronnie Coleman. Like, I can't train like Ronnie Coleman and look like Ronnie Coleman. There's a lot of genetics at play and everything else.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like, start somewhere, get a program, do it to your best ability, do it consistently, and train fucking hard. Lift heavy, train hard. Again, if you're not getting the benefits, or you're not seeing the gains that you think you should, or they stop after a while, then you need to change something.
Yeah, and it may not even be on the barbell, you know, because I mean, that's not where you grow. You know, you may need to assess, you know, how am I resting, you know, how am I eating, you know, we're not gonna get into that too much, but if you're failing at that stuff after a long period of time, you're doing something else wrong, because the weights don't lie. Like, the weights are going to do their damage if you're doing the work, you know, and the weight is not what grows the muscle. All the rest and the food and shit like that you do is what is going to increase your strength and the muscle bellies and all of that shit.
See, to me, especially as a bodybuilder, strength was, I don't want to say relative, which it is, but like on some days, I was strong as fuck. And I'd be like, God damn, I'm fucking destroying it today. Whether it was a caffeine induced, or I got great sleep the night before, or maybe I had 2 more meals than I did before the last time I trained back. You know what I mean? And then my next back workout, maybe I slept like shit. Maybe I was drinking the night before, or whatever, and I'm not as strong. So I know people keep journals, and those are great. Journals are a fantastic way to track your progression. I have 6 or 7 notebooks over here from when I competed, my diets, my training. And one of the best things that someone advised me to do when I kept these journals is they're like, well, how did you feel this day? What do you mean? And they're like, well, how did you feel? You were 8 weeks into your contest prep. You were calorie deficient. How did you feel this day? And at the end of your day, put down how you felt in the gym that day. Were you strong? Were you not strong? Were you tired? Were you lethargic? Did you feel like you could fucking dominate the fucking world? And then figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's fine. Or, man, I noticed I got great sleep, or I noticed I did this, or I implemented another 5,000 milligrams of D3. You know what I mean? So like, if you're going to keep a journal, that's fantastic. Be as detailed and precise as you can be on how you feel.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to know what works, A, unless you try it. Okay. B, if you're doing all kinds of shit, then you may never know what works for you and what doesn't. But if you keep a journal and you make, man, I was on 10,000 milligrams of D3, didn't do shit. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's good stuff for you to know, or creatine or glutamine or whatever the fuck you're taking.
Yeah. And I'm not a journal guy. And I'd say the majority of people aren't a journal guy, but you do need to like have a set.
A bunch of them at the gym.
Huh?
I see a bunch of them at the gym.
No, well, yeah, I do it on my phone, kind of. I don't do it to the extent, but I'm not competing either. But I do have a set of questions that I ask myself, not necessarily on a day that I've succeeded and I feel great, which that may be something I need to look at, but on days that I may fail, like say if I do, because my work sets are three sets of 5, all at a heavy weight, all at the same weight. If I miss that third set that, I only get 3 reps, well, I'm asking myself, why did I fail at that? Was it too heavy? Did I make too big of a jump from my last workout? Did I not rest? How did I eat? Was my mind just not in the right place for that lift? You know what I mean? Did I not rest long enough between sets? Because that's important, especially with strength. To get those energy systems that we use in our body back online, you can't just do a CrossFit workout where you're constantly moving when you're trying to build strength. You have to have a rest period to get those energy systems back online, ATP and, the glycogen system, or what do you call it? I forget what you call it. But anyway, you get the 3 systems that your body uses for energy to get that back online. But so, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Jason asked, don't you guys have to do this thing at the firehouse?
What's that, workout?
Yeah. Don't you guys have to do that sort of thing at the firehouse? So, that this day in April has been a total shit show for the past 5 years. So we need to be prepared. We do. Okay. So no, we don't. We do have a physical test now, which is kind of bullshit. And it was revamped and it's still bullshit. But we do have a day called minimum standards. Now, minimum standards comes around once a year to every company, and it's firefighting related stuff, like raising an aerial ladder. A lot of it's to do with the apparatus and equipment, but we do have to raise ladders. We do have to don our packs in 60 seconds and stuff like that. And we will, like, when we know what's coming on, but when you do stuff like that on the fireground, it's kind of second nature to you. I mean, we never trained for minimum standards when we were at 6s.
No, we did the best ever.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that guys would bitch about minimum standards. Like, we'd be down there for a class and they'd be like, oh, hey, sorry, 6s, 12s, and Quintin, you're going to say for minimum standards. And motherfuckers would lose their shit and be mad as hell. And me and Josh were like just the opposite. We're like, shit, motherfucker. We excel at the minimum.
That was our motto.
Exceed it, but we excel at the fucking minimum.
You want to see a guy that can work hard, he's at the minimum.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, I mean that preparedness for when fires happen to happen more often. No. I mean, when you say preparedness, I assume
I think is what he's asking. Is there like, I think moreover what his question is there like a annual test to make sure that people are fit enough to do the job?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, we have one, but it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call that. I would say that's more of a skills based thing than a fitness thing.
What,
No, the minimum standards.
Oh, minimum standards. Yes.
Yeah. So my answer to that would be no. We don't have. It's kind of up to the individual, like, to maintain some level of fitness for themselves. And unfortunately, the leading cause of death for firemen is heart attacks or cancer, depending on the. I don't know about the cancer numbers. I think that's a lot of
cancer's the number one killer.
Well, I think that's a lot of marketing in that too, to sell a lot of cancer prevention shit.
No, dude.
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm not getting in that discussion right now.
Study across the world, and the numbers were.
I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. But anyway, I know cancer is a serious problem, but I think heart attacks are a much more serious problem in our job. Whatever. It doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. We can do a whole nother fucking podcast on that if you want. I don't care. I'm ready for the argument. But
no, you ain't.
Yeah.
You obviously ain't.
Yeah. No, I am. I am. I've thought about it. I mean, it's.
You haven't read the study. You haven't read the IFF study.
What's that?
You haven't read the IAFF study.
How the fuck you know what I've read?
You haven't read it. I know you haven't.
How do you know I haven't read it? How do you
didn't
know?
read it.
I haven't read it. You don't know that I haven't read it.
Where'd you read that?
I didn't read it. I said you don't know that I haven't read it. No, I have not read it.
I do now because you said you didn't.
You do now, yes. No, I did not read it, but I just the money involved with cancer in our job. I think the numbers are a little bit skewed on that. That's my opinion. I mean, I don't know if it's factual or not, but that's what I'm standing by. And I mean, the guys that I talked to at the firehouse, a lot of them are kind of in the same agreement, agreement with that. Not to say that cancer isn't a problem. It's definitely a problem.
Killing us more than anything is.
But I think,
It's killing us more than anything is.
Okay. Anyway, no, there's not an annual test of fitness on our job. I don't know many across the country, and I talk to guys across the country that have an annual fitness test for their firefighters. There should be, absolutely should be, I mean, there should be some accountability there with the organization, sure, like to make sure that their members are staying motivated and in shape.
It's a societal problem as well as it's a fire department problem. So no one incentivizes you to be healthy. Not a fucking thing. There are some incentives like insurance wise, but nothing like it fucking should be. And just look at this fucking pandemic for one thing. Your government don't want you healthy. They don't want you fucking healthy. They shut gyms down, for God's sakes. The number one preventer of death from COVID-19 was not a mask, was not a vaccine, people. None of that.
It's fat people.
Thing, it's your health.
Yeah, it's fat people.
Fucking health. And guess what? You have an underlying fucking health condition like diabetes, asthma, any of that. You are more susceptible. But guess what? You can counterbalance that. You can counterattack that by being in better fucking shape. I know people that have fucking asthma that CrossFit.
Yeah.
That could probably go out there and kick my fucking ass right now in a jiu-jitsu mat. They got their inhaler with them because they need that. But they do the best that they can with the fitness that they have. My father-in-law, he was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. The motherfucker, changed his lifestyle, changed his diet, changed all this shit. He was on glucotrol for type 2 diabetes. He was on it for a year. After a year, his doctor was like, yeah, you don't need that shit no more. Like, he changed his whole health perception because of his diabetes, which he needed to, and he got off the fucking medication. So you got the government. Nobody wants to incentivize you to be fucking healthy. No. If they did, there would be more incentives for people to go to the gym. There would be more incentives to people to lose weight. It's kind of fucking on you. And that's what we talk about on this show, right? Is like, we're all responsible for our safety, right? It ain't the cops. You're your fucking first line. You're your family's first line of defense. It's the same way here. No one's going to fucking go, hey man, here's $1,000. You lost 100 pounds this year. Fucking great job. Do you know what a burden you would have been on the fucking healthcare community? Here's a fucking $1,000. Thanks a lot, man. Fuck that. They don't care. They want you fucking fat. They want you unhealthy. So don't fall into that shit, man. Like, there should be accountability. So what, as far as our job goes, again, Josh and I have talked about it numerous times on the show. The worst thing you could say about a dude on the fire department is, man, he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, he's
a hell of a guy.
Good guy.
Okay. When the fat fuck that's been on the job 20 years walks into the firehouse, you're like, fuck me. Maybe a great guy, may love playing cards with him, watching movies with him. He's probably a great cook.
But, well, hey, let's not demonize all fat people, because there are some guys on the job that don't necessarily look like they would be good at the job, but they're excellent fucking firemen. You know, I mean, really. And for whatever reason, they're kind of a freak, and their physical ability is definitely way better than their looks. I mean, there are guys like that.
Give me the initials of one guy right now.
He passed away. That's not funny at all.
You had a heart attack on the job.
First came to mind. There's another captain that comes to mind. There are guys that come to mind that are not necessarily. Hell, myself, I don't consider myself a physical specimen. You know, I definitely could lose.
You got to be a physical specimen. I said the fat motherfucker, and
well, in some circles, I look fat.
Popping our head at the same time.
But in some circles, I look. Hell, you call me fat boy.
I do call you fat boy.
Yeah. So within that circle, like I would be considered the fat dude. You know what I mean?
But Larry.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. Oh, hey, let's not skip over the comment either by that said that the number one killer of firemen is heart attacks. The number one killer of firemen that are both retired and active is, and I know your argument coming back with this, is cancer. But as far as active duty guys that are dropping dead on scenes, it's heart attack.
Okay.
Cancer, you know, catches up with us later on. Some of us, unfortunately, before we retire.
The number one killer of firemen, period, is cancer. But I'll caveat that to active duty.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's look at it. If we're going to look at it like that, let's look at the one that's more preventable. You know, dropping of a heart attack is going to be more preventable for me from a physical aspect than me getting cancer.
And let's be honest. The more physically fit you are, the more likely you would be in the fight against cancer.
Yeah. And less likely you may even get cancer, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it all starts there. Yeah. Like, yes, absolutely. 100% agree to that. But I'm not demonizing fat people. I'm demonizing fat people on our job. I don't give a shit if you're EMS. Sorry, Larry, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Larry's a fireman. He's not EMS anymore.
Okay. Oh, he's not? Oh, he's not EMS anymore?
No, I think he works he's either retired or was working for a fire department.
Man, congratulations, Larry. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't know that, buddy. But I'm just saying, EMS as a whole, and Larry knows, find a physically fit motherfucker in EMS. His name's Unicorn. That's right. Yes, it is. It's Unicorn. What I'm saying is, you know, you find a fat police officer. Motherfucker, who are you protecting? You know what I mean? You find a fat guy on our job. I mean, A, it looks like shit to the public. B, you can't do the fucking job. So you had a responsibility to have some level of physical fitness to be on that fucking job. Now, like you said, there should be a little more accountability as far as that goes. There's not. And I'm sure there's a legal gray area there and all that. Fat is required for EMS. Oh, Larry, I love you, man. I love when you're in the chat. It's fucking fantastic. And again, Larry is how does being fit prevent cancer in your job? Because so let's take a physically fit person, and as opposed to an overweight, out of shape person, and you give them both lung cancer. The chances that the physically fit person beats his lung cancer because of the treatment is going to far outweigh the already unhealthy person that's going to have multiple complications from treatment of cancer than the physically fit person is.
Yeah, I think the key there, though, is the word prevent. I don't know. I mean, you're talking about surviving. Okay. Yeah, you're talking about surviving.
We're talking about
I may have said prevention, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the fucking studies are out there, but I would guarantee it would be a pretty solid guess to say a guy that is pretty physically fit probably has lower chance of getting some types of cancer. I don't know. It's total guess. I haven't looked it up, but you guys with the free time while we're talking can look it up.
I want to address Jason's because a lot of people don't know this. So if you're listening to the podcast, I want a lot of the general public has no idea about what our job is. They think we fight fires, and we do fight fires. But what we do also that nobody really knows is we clean up after a fire. The fire is actually the easiest part of the job. It's an operation called overhaul operations. And what happens is and we know a ton more now than we did. But so we get in there and we make sure that there's not a rekindle. That means that when we leave that building, that property, there is absolutely no way that thing catches on fire again. Rekindle for a captain is a demotion. It's a shit stain on their career for their entire career. So while we're doing that, there is a lot of smoldering toxic plastics, burnt wood. I mean, every carcinogenic known to man is in that mixture while we're shoveling, while we're doing all this. Now you say, oh, why can't you wear your fucking pack? Well, our packs are heavy. Bottles run out. There's no way that I say no way our department could do it. There is a way, but they're not going to do it because there's a cost associated with it. To have bottles and manpower and all that to get a 6-hour overhaul operation done.
Yeah.
Would you agree to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been saying that for years. If you want to prevent cancer in firemen, then stop overhauling. You know, I mean, there are things out there that we can wear. I see more and more guys wearing them during overhaul, you know, than I ever have in my career. Huh?
That we've bought ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been given one. I mean, you know, we were given cancer wipes once that actually caused cancer.
Yeah. I remember that.
So they took those off track and gave us some new ones that apparently don't give cancer, but I don't trust them anymore, so I don't fucking use them. Because the first ones prevented or helped prevent cancer, and they didn't. So I'm not buying into that dogma anymore.
What I loved is the first time I looked into an arson guy's truck, he had this big nice mask, like, you know, double canister, all this thing, and I was like, "Oh, hey man, where'd you get this at?" He went, "Yeah, I issued it."
Wow.
I'm like, what do you mean issued it? Oh yeah, arson's issued that shit. Do you not know that?
We're getting bulletproof vests. I mean,
yeah, well, yeah, that stops cancer too.
Lead poisoning. We'll avoid
lead
that.
Poisoning from bullets. Yeah, cancer bullets. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. We got up on.
I think there's nothing that is negative about being physically fit, and in particular being strong. You know, absolutely being strong. You know, and in particular, so
absolutely. And that again, you know, we talk about these pillars, and this is. It's maybe the one of the most important because there's so many things that come along, like your confidence, you know, your self-assuredness, all this when you are a more physically fit individual. And I want to bring something else up too. So just doing some research for the show, I got to thinking, I was like, man, this is a great topic. So like people get knee-jerk reactions to things, right? Like I do all the time. So I get very upset very, very quickly. So what happens when you get upset, when you get stressed? Okay, there's a huge dump of cortisol, huge dump of adrenaline, you know, and again, it may be because you're just fucking tired. Maybe you're hangry and the fucking, you know, douchebag in the fucking Mustang Saline pulled out in front of you and he wants to fucking rev his engine up, school tires and shit. So you're fucking like, boom, cortisol dump, adrenaline dump. Now you're in a stressful environment. Okay. How do you react to these things? Maybe it's a lady yelling at your fucking face for something you didn't fucking do, or maybe you did do it. I don't know. Maybe it's your significant other. Maybe it's a spouse that's yelling at you. Josh and I can both attest to those things. So what I'm saying is when you're more physically fit, okay, you've started to train your body to become under these type of situations and be more relaxed because you've been in these situations before. Okay. When I'm training and I'm tired and my song comes on and I'm about to fucking press these 150-pound dumbbells, then I am dumping cortisol, I'm dumping adrenaline, but I am focusing. I'm teaching my mind how to focus. Again, there's a neurological response there. Okay, so you can do these type of things to reinforce better decision making habits when you're under a stressful environment. So there's again, there's always the hey man, you look better, your clothes look better, you feel better, and then now there's these other things that you can associate with just being in better shape. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think we may have talked about that in the last podcast. Where I mean, when your parasympathetic nervous system fires off, that's totally different than doing a heavy set of squats. I mean, there's a cortisol response with both, but the one where your nervous system's firing off is a lot harder to adapt to. So we're talking about stress inoculation now, right? Inoculating ourselves to stress, which has been a big topic in the fire service, probably more in the last 5 years than it ever has been. And yeah, so like, how do you do that? It's hard to replicate in training the actual stress of, people hanging out of a window, or, you're getting a mayday call and, your buddies are in trouble. You can't really replicate that, but you can do some things, to help. And kind of what we're talking about. I mean, hell, one, working for strength, like I've been talking about, is stress inoculation. The other thing you were talking about, kind of the neural pathway of it, and something I do is like controlling your breathing. When you're in a situation like that, realize that because breath is life.
It's life.
You can only live, a few minutes without breath. So, if you're able to calm yourself down and realize, hey, I need to slow my breathing down. And then also I keep like kind of a mantra in my head, when I'm in these situations where it's like, I keep a dialogue of, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. It can't be a lot of words. You can't really have a big discussion with yourself, but you can have a mantra that's short and to the point, that drives you forward, through a situation like that. I think that's important. I tell guys that in training, all the time.
I talked about that in the confidence episode, but you weren't there. But so when you have these times and you do, like, I talk to myself all the fucking time, and it's cool now because if you got your phone or you got your Bluetooth, people do it all the time and they don't think you're fucking insane. 10 years ago, like, who the fuck is that guy talking to? So, but there's again a neurological response when you speak it out loud. So when you speak out loud and you give yourself you have a positive mantra, or you're like you said, like, man, we can fucking do this. We can fucking do this. When you say it out loud, there's a neurological response that you don't even control. Like, it does it all its own, which is actually pretty cool. But when you were talking about breathing, so like one of the special forces, this is what they train guys to do in buds, is when it gets really, really, really tough, you take 4 deep breaths. If you have 60 seconds, so I've been doing this. So when I'm doing my functional fitness workouts and I'm doing my evolutions and I'm trying to take 60 seconds between evolutions, I'm doing this. And a lot of times, I was telling Josh earlier, I can go back to my evolution faster than 60 seconds because of this. So you take 4 deep breaths, okay? In through your nose, out through your mouth. All right, 4 big ones. Now, while you're doing that, what the buds will teach you is you need to open up or create a positive body language. Again, it's a neurological pathway. You really don't realize the benefit that it's giving you until you do it. All right, and what that means is like, so if you're fucking tired, which your buds, you're fucking wore out, your shoulders are forward. We're all internally rotated anyway. Your shoulders are tired. You're bent over. You've cut your oxygen off. What you want to do is to create positive body language. Is you want to open up, roll your shoulders back, and keep your head up. This opens up your lungs. Okay, so that's going to help you no matter what. All right, and then you take your breaths, and it's amazing what one evolution of that'll do. If you can get 2 evolutions of that in 60 seconds, man, I'm telling you, you're going to be fucking ready to rock and roll. It's amazing what it does. A lot of people like to clench their jaw. I'm bad at this. I'll clench my jaw. Okay. I will fucking tighten my fist, and I'm just fucking tense because I'm pissed, or there's been a stress response, or I'm just fucking tired. Okay. Open yourself up, relax your hands, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. It's a lot to think about. So it takes practice. Like Josh was saying, breathing is life. If you're really not breathing, which this has been bad for me for a long time. So breathing exercises, there's a Mein Hof, which is a pretty intense breathing exercise. I don't recommend that for people starting out because you will pass the fuck out. I'm telling you, you will pass them. I've seen it. People will pass the fuck out. So don't recommend that, but there are just like little ones like that can really, really, really benefit you. But you're absolutely right. Breathing is, especially in exercise, whether you're training for strength or fitness or whatever, breathing is everything.
Yeah. Yeah. You talk about that posture, and it made me think, and Jimmy's in the comments, but I remember on that, you'll know the fire, we were both exhausted. We had probably went through 2 or 3 bottles, and we were kind of on our knees out in the street, kind of in a defeatist, posture, ready to like just say, fuck it, we've done enough. It's time for somebody else to fucking do something.
Oh, me and you on the Hill Road fire?
Yeah. And Jim come up and said something like, hey,
are y'all ready?
Are y'all ready? And it's like, how do you say fucking no to a guy you respect? First off, we're and a boss, so it's like, well, fuck yeah, I'm ready. And I remember he directed that like in your direction, and you said yes. And I was like, well, fuck it. Yeah, I mean, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. So it was, and I remember that moment because it was like automatically, it's like, okay, change your mindset now, because now you're going back to work, and that stuff's hard to do. And if you don't train for it by doing hard things, then you're not going to know how to do it when it comes time to actually do it under a stressful situation.
That's right. So, and that's, and just like you said, it's hard to induce that type of reaction. But when you do something like that, you may not even realize it at the time, but then when you are under stress and you think, holy shit, and like you and I, like in our job, experience was a big thing, right? Like, the first few
fires, it was later into the career.
Absolutely, for sure.
You don't have experience when you're first starting out in something. So yeah, it takes.
Just think if your physical fitness wasn't what it was, and you were put under that fire alone. I think we went through 3 bottles. I don't know if we got into our 3rd, but we had a 3rd on us, so we definitely burned 2. So we're fucking done, tired as fuck. But we were preparing ourselves to do it again. You know what I mean? And somebody that doesn't have that level of physical fitness, regardless of the experience, would have been like, man, fuck it, I'm done. If you remember, when we got there, one of the first arriving companies, the captain was rolling around in the front yard.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember? And
yeah,
I was like, what's wrong with him? Like, what the? He retired. Like, that fire made him fucking retire. It was a hell of a one. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying, like, we worked our asses off, so here's another aspect of being strong and being fit. You take a pride in that, especially if you're in the type of occupation that requires a certain level of physical fitness. And when you say I was demonizing fat people earlier, which I guess I was, so to me, you need to look good in your uniform and you need to be able to perform. And when you don't respect the job. You don't respect what the insignia on your fucking shirt. You don't respect the Louisville Fire on the back of your shirt because you look like shit.
Well, even more, I mean? not even that you don't respect. You don't
respect yourself.
You don't understand.
You don't understand.
You don't understand the actual consequences, because they say, physical fitness is a factor in courage, and in bravery. I mean, there's no, a lack of physical fitness will make a coward out of all of us. There's a great quote out there. I can't remember. I'm sure Jason will throw it up there, but you know, and I mean, that's true. So, I mean, even like that moment at that hill fire where it's like, all right, fuck, I really don't feel like it, but we'll go back to work. I mean, even if my mind could say, do it, and my body was like, no, you know, there's a dilemma there. There's a dichotomy there where it's like, you know, which one's going to win? Is my mind going to win or is my body going to win? You know, or win, not win. You know, and you got to train for that shit.
So there was another fire on Alta Vista, which Jimmy may remember this one too, because I believe he was there. It was gas fed, $1 million home.
I made that fire.
Okay. When did you make it?
We made it.
You must have made it on the second alarm.
Yeah, we made it on the second alarm, went all through the attic. Yeah.
Yeah. We were, trust me, I know. We were first in. We were first company there, us in 20s. And we didn't know it was gas fed at first. And then we're in there fighting it, getting in the attic, and then it's flared up right behind us again. So that was a 3-bottle fire. And I remember on my second bottle, there was a guy on truck 7. It was truck 7 at the time, which RIP truck 7. And he was like, hey, where are you going? I just got my second bottle changed. We find out it was gas fed, you know, still work to do. I'm on the deck, and you know, I'm getting masked up again. And Nate, oh shit, I didn't want to say his name, but he goes, hey, where you getting ready to do? And I'm like, can we go back in here? And he goes, okay. And it was 100 plus that day. I have a picture. It was 100 and plus degrees that day, the heat index. And so I'm masked up, get in there. You're supposed to have a partner, but I knew there were people in there, so I just fucking went in. Come back out. They hadn't got the gas turned off yet, but I think it was getting turned off or something like that. It was actually 2 off-duty firemen that knew where the gas meter was because LG&E didn't. They knew where the gas shut-off was, and they ended up turning it off before LG&E could. So it's kind of odd. But so I'm getting my 3rd bottle changed, and the guy comes over, and he goes, hey, man, I'm sorry. And I said, what are you sorry about? And he goes, I asked you where you were going, and you said you were going back in. He goes, I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, hey, man, no worries. This guy was a Ranger. You know, I mean, he's tough. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I took some fucking pride in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, I took some pride in that moment. Like, all right, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's fucking, I've made a bunch of fires with this guy. He's fucking solid as fuck. He would never let you down. And if I needed him, he would have been there. But it was just one of those things. Like, there's a bunch of people working and he couldn't go. And it's probably a good thing he didn't go if he didn't think he could, because you don't want to be part of the problem either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he knew his capabilities, and he
knew his capabilities.
Yeah, and he acted on that. So thank God, you know, or he could have complicated the whole operation. You know,
absolutely. Yeah, it was Cundiff and Stinson, Mike Stinson, that ended up coming off duty and turning the gas off.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Alta Vista was
Stinson flying on his balloon and turn it off.
Yeah, he halo dropped from his balloon and.
Well, hey, I like talking about strength, you know, and I kind of wrote a thing down, was like, you know, why is being strong important? I got 5 kids, and I was just asked each of my kids individually, was like, hey, why is it important to be strong? And every single one of them said, to protect myself and to protect other people. Like, I must be doing something right. I don't know. I wasn't expecting, well, all with the exception of Easton, he's the youngest, he's 5. He said, I don't know. But after hearing everybody else's, he agreed. So, you know, I mean, you know, and I mean, self-preservation.
Cool.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, we've gotten off on some personal stories of why it's important to be fit for what we've done for a living. Mm-hmm. You know, people that are listening need to, you know, if you're a bricklayer, you need to be strong enough to be a fucking bricklayer all day long. You know, and the stronger you are, the easier fucking days you're going to have. You know, so strength is important everywhere. But anyway, so I was kind of like thinking about that. And like injury prevention is another reason that I think strength is important, because the stronger you can make your muscles around a joint, the less prone you are to injuring those joints, right?
Right.
And because it takes so long to build a good base of strength, that those tendons and those ligaments, which get stronger at a much slower rate than a muscle does, they're able to keep up, right? So if I'm not acting like an idiot and going out here and joining a CrossFit club and getting injured in the first 6 months, and I'm actually dedicating myself to building a base of strength before I go do this CrossFit, that's intelligent. Do that first. So another reason to be strong is for injury prevention. Another reason to be strong, in my opinion, you might have some opinions, but just to generally be a more useful person to those people around you.
Correct.
And to save yourself some money. I mean, hell, I don't know if anybody's lifted a washer lately, but I just bought a new washer and dryer, and those fucking things are ridiculously heavy. Yeah. And I mean, and we picked it up and carried it in the house, whereas somebody that isn't as strong would have to have and pay someone else to come bring that in their house and install it. Sure. So, you could potentially save yourself some money and just be more useful, to society and to your family and to your, what's that?
You add. If you're not being a value add, then I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. Value add. No. Yeah. And confidence. Right. So, and the guys on the fire department that I've turned on starting strength to, that's one of the biggest things that they talked about was gaining a self-confidence, knowing that they can handle things, be it a 40-foot ladder, which is extremely heavy, especially in Alco Light that we have, which is the heaviest fucking ladders on the planet, just having that confidence and that you can handle those things, right? I mean, that's important. And you don't know how important that is until you're strong. It's hard to explain that until you're strong. And then you're like, holy fuck, I get it. This feels different. I feel different now,
When you reach the point where you feel strong, and it may be, again, strength is relative. When I tore my bicep, my surgeon told me, you can't lift heavy anymore. You can't lift heavy anymore. My dad was like, hey, man, you heard him. You can't lift heavy anymore. I'm like, what the fuck is heavy? What is heavy? Yeah. Heavy to you ain't heavy to me, Dad. You know what I mean? So it's all relative. But when you reach the point in your own level of fitness where you feel stronger, you don't ever want to go back.
No, never. And never. It's harder to go back. Whereas if you're out training for some endurance, thing, the studies say that you can build a good base of endurance in a pretty short period of time. Right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, correct.
And it's much harder to build a base of strength. Right?
Yes.
So, and you're going to be better at that endurance event if you're stronger. Correct?
Correct.
So you would be better suited to spend that initial first period of time and probably a large portion of your time, unless you're training for a certain event, because being strong will make you somewhat endurance based. I mean, you do a heavy set of, you do a set of, 3 sets of 500-pound squats. That's a fucking endurance event too. I mean, that's hard.
If you're going, when I do isolation training, I still only take 60 seconds in between sets.
Yeah.
Well, I have guys that want to work out with me. The last two, and it's been over a year ago because I think the word got out. Hey man, you doing back today? Yeah, I'm doing back. I want to do back with you. Come on. But I move.
Yeah.
There ain't no talking. There ain't no taking pictures. 60 seconds. We're moving. Both the last two guys have thrown up. Now it was both back day, but I keep an incredibly fast pace. I got that from Porter a long time ago. And that's the way I train. So now could I go heavier? Taking 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes in between sets? Absolutely. But I can still train heavy and keep a good pace. And it it works for me. Okay. But I need to get to a question real quick. Why y'all hating on CrossFit so much?
That's what I was looking up.
It's the perfect thing for strength and cardio. Ever heard of Rich Froning, Matt Fraser?
Yeah.
So, let me tell you about Rich Froning.
That's what I was
he
just
does more drugs than probably I ever have. And that's a lot. That's a lot of fucking drugs, Audrey.
Well, he's a professional. He's a professional athlete. He does it for a living.
He's a professional athlete. He does it for a living.
Yeah.
Lie. No, that's not a fucking lie. That's the reason CrossFit Games don't fucking drug test. I mean, if they did, there wouldn't be those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the reason they don't fucking drug test, for one thing. For another thing it's just like Josh said, if he concentrated on more strength, he would be stronger. That's not what he does, but that's not what we're saying. We're saying is people get into CrossFit, and I can tell you, and so could your husband, a list of guys, and Josh and I can too, random drug tests in the off season. Okay.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Sure
who
they do.
Who wouldn't like that? Well, who wouldn't like that? And I'm sure you know when you're getting drug
just to let you know, the NBA, MLB, and NFL also do random drug tests. Okay. But what a lot of people don't know is, do you think that there would be any NFL players if they tested the same as they did MLB and NFL? They don't. It's in your bargaining agreement. I don't know what CrossFit's bargaining agreement is. I don't think there is one. And it's probably the same organization that sponsors CrossFit. So therefore, they're not really drug testing them. But the NFL is an 8-to-1 testosterone ratio. MLB, which changed it after the McGuire and Sammy Sosa years, they went to the NBA's, which is 4-to-1. Okay, 4-to-1 is a pretty big disparage if you understand testosterone ratings.
I don't know anything about it.
It's you can get caught, and every time I hear of a pro athlete getting busted, I'm like, dumbass, fucking dumbass.
You mean because they knew the parameters? Is that what you mean? And they shouldn't have got caught?
It's free testosterone to serum testosterone. So for every free testosterone, they can have up to 4 serum testosterone. That's the ratio.
Gotcha.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to get into the scientifics of it because it's confusing. All I know is that 8-to-1 is ridiculous. 8-to-1 is sick. That's the reason you got fucking guys that look like Malvin Mack. That's the reason you got guys that look, like James Harrison did for the Steelers for fucking years. All right. And again, there's an injury prevention thing there too.
What are you talking about?
So I don't want to hear about CrossFit drug testing because it's a fucking joke. It's a farce. It means nothing. Google it. You Google it. I know about it. You fucking Google it.
Well, here, I'll not even from that standpoint of the drug testing or whatever, just the basis of like what, and I know Greg Glassman isn't like involved in CrossFit anymore. I don't even know what the history is there, but he's the founder of it, and you can't deny that. I mean, it's probably, you can't deny CrossFit. And I knew this topic was going to come up because it's probably been the largest like sweeping fitness fad in all of mankind. All of mankind. Like it's probably unprecedented how fast that is swept in across the world. I mean, and the reason that I think that is it's not boring, and it also has a tribe kind of mentality, which I think
fanatical religious mentality.
But I think society in general is lacking of that. So I think people were looking for that. So I think there's a psychological.
It wants to be something to belong to. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So I think that's part, and I think the marketing behind CrossFit was genius. But I want to read. I wrote this down because I knew it was going to come up, and this is from Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit. He wrote a couple. He always said a couple things. Like CrossFit is broad, it's general and inclusive. Its specialty is not specializing, right? So that says a lot to me. Like you're not spending a lot of time on a lot of things. You're moving around a whole lot. So it's not boring. So it's very marketable, right? I know you're reading comments and responding, but this next part is pretty important. Like it says, the other part was it's constantly varied, it's high intensity, and it's functional movement. Now, let's say that my goal was to injure someone. That's my goal. I want to injure you. So what's the best way physically that I can do that? I'm going to take something that you don't do very often and you're not very good at, and I'm going to make you do it at a high intensity, right?
Right.
I'm going to make you do it at a high intensity, and you're probably going to get injured. And the injury, like I looked up some of the injury, like it was like 2 point something per 1,000 people injured in CrossFit. I don't know what the numbers are there. And, who knows how accurate that is, but anything that's constantly varied. So you're not doing any of the, because they're doing Olympic movements, they're doing powerlifting movements, they're rope climbing.
And that's what you're saying. You're saying the reason we're shitting on CrossFit is because people jump into it because it was marketed,
yes,
amazingly, that have no strength background, they have no weightlifting background, they have no Olympic lifting technique. They know nothing.
Well, they pulled people from all different genres of fitness.
But that's not what made CrossFit what it was.
No, I know. But it's what you get is a general person walking into a CrossFit gym, and they're being coached by a person that was able to pay a couple $1,000s to get a coaching certificate that probably doesn't know much about actual lifting technique,
Exactly.
of especially something as technical as Olympic lifting
and overhead.
And even the squat. The squat is it's probably a very hard thing to coach. A deadlift is pretty basic. You can watch any baby, they know how to pick things up. It's easier to coach a deadlift than it is a squat. But you get people hurt, and some of the top injuries in CrossFit, and it's probably along the same lines of any physical activity: shoulders, hips, back. Back. And it's probably mostly because a person doesn't have a foundation of strength.
They don't.
To be able to strength and then also technique. So you can't throw a person in from the couch that heard about CrossFit and make them do what they call it, a WOD. Do a WOD of, clean and jerks, 50 clean and jerks and 20 wall balls and 30 double unders, jumping rope. They probably can't do a dumbbell under anyway, and expect this person to be efficient and good at this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then they also put in the marketing is what I'm talking about. They put time limits on it. They make it reps. It's almost like a smartphone where it just like pulls you in and makes you want to stay in it to get better and better until you get injured, Well,
and then I watched a guy that's a CrossFit trainer on the fire department working out at your firehouse. Not there now, but we were at your firehouse, and this guy was doing an overhead squat. It was, oh my God, I couldn't even watch it because he had too much weight. He had never done a squat before in his life. So you're going to let the guy do an overhead squat. And you know what he told him? Just get your reps. Hey man, don't worry about your form. Just get your reps.
Yeah.
This was a guy that had a fucking CrossFit certificate.
Yeah.
He could train people.
That's the danger. And here's what we keep getting in the comments.
Let's say this real quick. Audrey says, Matt Frazier was an Olympic lifter. That's fucking great for Matt Frazier. I hope everybody that gets into CrossFit's a fucking Olympic lifter.
Yeah, but we're not talking about these freaks.
We're not talking
about the Matt Fraziers of the world.
We're talking about the Josh Bridges 85% that CrossFit marketed to make it the biggest fucking fitness phenomenon that we've seen in the last 100 years.
If you're into making money, then yeah, that's great. If you're into being fit without being injured, probably not so great.
Well, so I also want to say this because
I CrossFitted for a couple when I was a truck one. It's hard. I ain't gonna lie, it's a difficult thing to do, but there isn't a whole lot of strength components in it that I found.
When CrossFit first started, there was no strength component.
They I can't remember.
They
The CrossFit totals. They call it CrossFit totals. So they'll take, I think I may be wrong, deadlift, like bench and squat and maybe even press and get a CrossFit total. But I looked at some of the numbers. I mean, a lot of these top CrossFitters, their top like squats are, 4 and some change, for the majority of the top level. I mean, that's not impressive. That's not an impressive squat. There are a few 500-pound squats in there, which to me is probably pretty respectable for probably a CrossFitter that weighs 85, 95 pounds, whatever they weigh, but these people, if they focus on strength, and I'm not talking about those top level athletes. I'm talking about these people in the comments, these average people that are living lives out here. They need to focus on strength first. I mean, get in the gym. I don't even care about your diet at first. No. Just get your body moving. And the motivation from getting stronger, I believe, will cause you to say, hey, I want to eat a little bit better. Hey, now I want to get a little bit more mobile, and that, but I think the seeing those numbers of strength go up and the confidence that comes with that, especially if your life is the kind of life that you get challenged, like we do in the fire service, and you see that these physical activities that you do become much easier. That's where confidence comes from. It's like from doing something and then going and training and getting better at it. Now I have even more confidence in that, it's my opinion on that. I don't know. Fucking avoid CrossFit until you're extremely strong and you're very efficient at doing these complex movements that they make you do.
I was telling you this earlier. I was talking to somebody earlier. They're a doctor in physical therapy. Her and her husband are they're big CrossFitters. And she was giving me workouts, and some of these had Olympic lifts in them. And I said, hey, I really want to stay away from these Olympic lifts. I'm not versed in it. I have the strength base. I don't have the technique for some of these, like clean and jerks, snatches and stuff like that. I just haven't done it. I don't want to hurt myself. And she gave me several variations that don't include a barbell. They're sandbags, they're water bags, they're doing them with kettlebells, like they take a lot of the injury of these Olympic lifts out of it. And it kind of opened my mind up to that. I'm like, holy shit, this is fantastic. Now, this, again, very well-versed doctor, physical therapy, been CrossFit for a while. I mean, like, they know this. If you were starting out and you wanted to do CrossFit and you went to this gym and you got their direction, fucking go for it. They're going to keep you safe because they want you to keep training. Okay. They're not, I paid this online and I have a fucking certificate saying I can do this. That's not who these people are. Okay. So in saying that, that the people that do CrossFit or exercise is not beneficial all the way around, no one's saying that. There are individuals that are steering people in the wrong direction. And we all know people that have CrossFit injuries. And if you talk to them about their injuries, you go, oh, yeah. So you were doing an overhead squat?
Yeah, ask them what they were doing.
Yeah, ask them what they were doing.
What were you doing?
I bet they weren't doing a push-up. I bet they weren't doing a sit-up. I bet they weren't doing an actual pull-up, not a fucking kip-up or wherever the fuck that shit's called.
Or doing 50 squats and not have the ability to control their lumbar spine.
Exactly.
To do it properly without being injured because they haven't properly conditioned themselves strength-wise to do that volume, that work capacity at that level.
That's right.
It's a great marketing thing. And if you are doing CrossFit and you succeed at CrossFit and it's working for you, that's great. That's great. But I would implore you to stop right now and work on a base of strength.
Absolutely.
And go back to it and see how much better you are at doing CrossFit.
I was doing a workout the other day and it required 100 pull-ups. And again, I've just started this. I'm 245 pounds. So pull-ups for me are fucking hard to begin with. And since there's 100 of them, it's the last thing that I have to do. Okay. I got to 73, I think it is. And I'm like, that's it. Fucking forget it. Like I was.
We're talking tipping pull-ups or just regular pull-ups there?
Did you not hear me? I'm 245 pounds. I ain't no fucking.
just want
100 getting done.
Want to make sure people know.
Done.
Just want to make sure people know.
So I could barely hang onto the fucking bar, like hang on to the bar. And I'm like, I'm going to do 5 more, and that's it. Like, but I know my body well enough. I've been doing this a long fucking time. Now you need to push yourself. And that's another great thing about these exercises. You're able to push yourself past a pain barrier, past your fatigue. That's how we get better, right? That's how we get better. So I'm able to do that. There's no problem with me doing that. But when I realized that it's a form over function, I can't. There's no way.
Yeah,
for me to do another pull up is going to hurt me more than it's going to help me. A risk versus reward scenario.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, that's what I was going to say. I mean, if you're doing a sub-maximal lift, which I don't do any 1 rep max, and a lot of people that follow starting strength don't do that shit. Your technique is probably going to be lacking in a lift like that. You know what I mean?
Lift like what?
If you're doing a sub-maximal 1 rep lift and you're trying to find out what your maximum 1 rep squat
1 rep max is,
your technique is probably going to suffer slightly.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
But you've trained yourself, hopefully, enough before you ever try to figure out what your 1 rep max is that you know the technique and you know how to handle it. Mm-hmm. But when you're doing 50 fucking squats, in a row with even a low amount of weight, your technique is going to suffer to the point of potential injury. Sure. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. CrossFit.
So again, like when you're bodybuilding training, and Porter would do this to me, especially like with flat bench. I couldn't do 315 when I fucking started out. I mean, I was 180 pounds. I couldn't do 315. He would put more weight on the bar than I could fucking do. And we would do what we call force reps. Okay. Where he's spotting me as I'm moving the weight, but he would tell me that your body needs to come accustomed to this load. Like if you bring your body accustomed to this load, then it will get easier as you do these. And force reps are great, but it's like a bodybuilding exercise. It's a 2-person exercise. Okay. Which is weird to say, but it is. I mean, getting a proper spot, I don't recommend it. Don't ask people in the gym to fucking spot you. You're asking for a fucking injury. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
I know how to spot, and I was spotting a guy and tore my bicep. So again, it's it for the spotter and the spotty. Just I don't recommend it at all. I really don't. I see so many people spotting people in the gym, and I go, I have to look the other way. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck are they doing? What the fuck?
Yeah, let the equipment spot you, not right. People.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, strength, fitness, it's paramount. If you've never been on a program, get on one. I don't give a fuck what you do. Get on one. You'll figure it out. If you're consistent and you're doing it at 100%, like if you're really trying, you need to really fucking try, guys. You're going to get better. And in that, I think you'll be motivated to do other things, to incorporate supplementation, to incorporate diet. Your clothes are going to start fitting better. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to be, again, when you hit that area where you're like, hey, I'm fucking strong, you're not going to want to go back. No. Especially if you're a guy. If you're a guy, you're not going to want to go back. And when you do go back, you're going to feel like fucking shit about yourself. But that's okay, because that may motivate you to get back in the fucking gym. Right?
Yeah. And the cool thing about strength is you don't lose it quickly. So if you have to do a layoff just because of life, and we're not professional athletes, sometimes you take off 2 weeks, 3 weeks, life happens, you know what I mean? But if you've spent the time to build a strength base, you come back that's going to be there. You know, that old man strength gets developed and it doesn't go away. I mean, we've all been grabbed by our grandfathers, you know, those are strong hands.
That's right.
You know, and
case in point, when I tore my bicep, 8 months, I was out 8 months, probably 6 months before I started doing any kind of resistance training. Okay. I mean, my left arm my shoulder was noticeably smaller. My arm was noticeably smaller. I hadn't done anything. Now I was still going to the gym. I was still training legs. I was doing one-armed machine movements, everything I could do with my right arm. Thank goodness it wasn't my right arm. But then I'll never forget when I came back to the fire department, I wasn't sure I was ready. Like just wasn't 100% confident. Again, there was an injury. I hadn't been training my normal way of training because, you know, still kind of babying it, blah, blah, blah. And then we made Super Chef's Fire my first day back. And I was fucking running a chainsaw. I was pulling ceilings. I was sledgehammering hinges off doors. Everything I could possibly do. I mean, it was a hell of a fire. Never once did my arm fail. Never once did my arm hurt. Now I was sore as fuck the next day because it hadn't done anything like that in almost a year. But I had a strength base, you know, even though that I had, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, Josh, where your muscle deteriorates. I
was supposed to say hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. Yeah. I had a major hypertrophy in this arm. Lost size, lost strength. It even with just a couple months of resistance exercises, it came back. You know what I mean? So again, being physically fit is going to help you injury prevention. And even if you get an injury, you're going to recover quicker, faster. If you get an illness, COVID-19, anybody? The number one prevention, or I don't want to say prevention, the number one defense if you get infected is your fucking health. It ain't a goddamn mask made out of a pair of panties. It ain't that. It's your fucking health. It's your strength base.
Yeah, atrophy is the word we was looking for.
Atrophy, hypertrophy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Hypertrophy is the other way. Hypertrophy. Yeah.
Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. All right, and you got anything else?
Well, like closing comments or what?
Sure. Well,
142. Yeah,
142. I figured we hit the 2-hour mark with your closing.
Mine, yours, man, yours.
Mine.
No, yeah. Mine. Well, quick story. Like as far as
my god, here we go.
The ability of like strength, like is older than older than the barbell. There's a story of like Milo of Croton. Hey, it's important stories. So the story is that this guy, he was a real guy. It's not a myth. Real guy, wrestler, like Olympic, medalist. Had fought plenty. Huh?
CrossFitter?
No, CrossFit. I don't know what they did back then, but anyway, he started with a calf, and he would pick up a calf and carry it on his back, and he did this until it became a bull. Apparently, that's the myth with this guy. So we're talking about like
this is a fucking true story, dude.
Okay, I don't know how true it is, but it's what it is. The guy. It's a great story. Look it up, Milo of Croton or whatever.
Oh, get how great of a story it is right now, but keep going.
Yeah, it's actually a better story than what I'm going to tell. I'm only telling a small portion of it. I'm only telling a small portion. Yeah, he was a war hero, a Olympic athlete back in those days. Yeah. Big dude. He was like fucking 7 foot.
It was bull. Keep going.
Yeah, it was like the actual like Hercules. He wore like a lion's fucking mane on his person. But anyway, so yeah, he started early carrying a calf and then apparently did this until it became a bull, then killed it and ate it because, well, obviously we need a protein, but is what that is an example of is this like this linear progression of what I'm talking about building strength. So this is thousands of years old, and they understood that if you stuck with a program that you added 5-10 pounds to each workout, you ain't gonna be able to do this forever, but you're gonna be able to do this for 2-3 months and get pretty fucking strong. And then you can change your workout a little bit and do some alternative stuff to keep your strength going. But that novice effect of lifting is very old, you know. I mean, and to me that's kind of cool that a story like that come out thousands of years ago before barbell ever, you know, that linear progression idea.
So what war was he in? Thermopylae?
No, they fought. No, he wasn't in Thermopylae. They were across from Greece. They fought somebody. It started with an S. I can't exactly remember the name. Sapien or not Sapiens. That's us. I don't know. Anyway, y'all can look it up. Look it up. It's a great fucking story. It's a true story. That part about the fucking bull, I don't know. But I think it's an example. I think it's an example of how he trained for strength and that he dominated wrestling and he dominated all of these other things in his lifetime, right? Because of strength. I think that's the example there, regardless of what Travis fucking thinks.
Story too that's true.
What's that?
I got a story too that's true. It's
no,
kind of, so like there was a kid and his parents were killed in a rival tribe. Like a rival tribe came over and killed all the fucking grown-ups, took all the fucking kids and made them slaves. They put him on this big wheel, like had like these big ass spokes that came off of it, and they all pushed on this wheel. And this motherfucker got jacked.
That's funny.
And
yeah.
fucking ended up killing everybody, becoming king. And
that dude was from like Austria, wasn't he?
Yeah, the dude was from Austria. Yeah. Well,
he had like,
you know,
he had like one line in that
it's a true story. He became Mr. Olympia and everything, and the King Conan.
So basically, I'm being made fun of right now, but that's a true fucking story. What I said, this jackass is talking about. Conan.
They made a movie about the dude's life.
They made several movies.
Conan.
Several.
He killed a big snake.
Yeah.
He fucked
there are no movies that I know
awesome.
of Milo, and like there might be a movie about a cat named Milo. I'm not sure. But there's not.
There definitely ain't a movie made about a dude carrying a calf to become a fucking bull. Guarantee you, I'd have seen it.
You're gonna look it up after this show.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot for joining in tonight.
Hey, I ain't done. I'm not done.
Bullshit. You're done. I'll mute
done.
your fucking mic. You're done. Strength, fitness. It's important. It's a pillar of becoming alpha. It's a pillar of being a man. It's fucking important, man. Your health. I mean, all these things we're talking about are actually kind of superficial until it becomes like the actual thing is your fucking health. You get one go, man. You get one go. The healthier you are, the better quality of life you're going to have as you get older. You're going to stave off disease, virus, cancer. I guarantee you there's a study somewhere where healthy individuals get diagnosed with cancer a lot less than unhealthy individuals. We were talking about cancer prevention earlier. Like, well, maybe it doesn't prevent it. I bet it does. No doctor, but I bet it does. So important shit, guys. That's one of the reasons Josh and I wanted to talk about it tonight is because being on this path, there are certain things that need to be accomplished. And this may be the first step in your journey to become a better human being, a better person, a better man, okay, better woman for that matter. You know, we all like strong women too. So next week, Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah,
sure. Wednesday. Yeah, I think Wednesday will work. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I'm off Wednesday.
Each other and make sure.
Yeah. The comment was made. It looks like I got a lot of CrossFit equipment behind me, like the rope. I do actually. I actually got a CrossFit timer up there, but my kids swing on that fucking rope, and my kids fuck around with a lot of stuff. I got like all kinds of boxing shit over here too. So, yeah, I mean, I like that kind of stuff, but I do focus mainly on strength. So I thought I'd add that in.
Yeah.
Since Travis cut me off.
Anything else you want to add to your closing?
We can. I mean, I mean, we're only at 149.
Yeah, I know. Trust me,
Yeah.
I know. I got to pee. So, all right, guys. Hey, if you'll follow social media links, I really appreciate it. If you get on Anchor, iTunes, if you can leave a 5-star, you know what? I say that every time. Don't give a shit what star you leave. Leave fucking 1 star, but just leave a fucking review. Be nice. Don't be a dick. But it really helps us in getting it out there. Thank you, Debo, so much for putting the links on the social media pages. Now that we have some shows in the hopper, and now I know we'll at least be for the next 3 weeks on Wednesday, unless something happens, there'll be more stuff on social media. And also, I want to tell you that there's going to be, this is the big reason you need to follow social media pages, Instagram and Facebook. Okay. Fuck Twitter. Twitter is the bad neighborhood of social media. I don't fuck with it. So there, here really quick. Here's my thing on social media. Okay. Twitter, it's a fucking West End, bad part of town. Don't get out your car. Don't unlock your doors. All right. Facebook is a neighborhood that if you know how to navigate it, Facebook can be okay. Facebook's got a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of stuff on there, a lot of pages. Facebook is okay if you know how to navigate it. Instagram is the prospect. It's the where Homerama is every year. Instagram is a more positive social media page. So I'll be putting stuff, and Josh is going to be sending stuff to little videos on stuff we think you guys might like. There's going to be a cigar video. There's going to be
knife sharpening.
What's that?
Knife sharpening
Video. There you go. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. I was actually splitting some wood the other day, took videos, and fucking they sucked. It was bad angle. I thought I had angle right. It sucked. So yeah. So we're going to be doing more Alpha Bro, like just small segment videos just to give you guys a little more content. So that'd be another reason to follow social media pages. If you guys have a topic,
this is time consuming for us. So make it worth our while, watch for shit.
Yeah, it's time consuming. Kind of like Josh's closing arguments.
No, anyway, it is, man. It sucks to me. Yeah.
So if you guys have a topic that you would like us to discuss, let us know. Email us, send us an instant message on the Facebook page, Instagram, whatever. Let us know a topic that you would like us to discuss, and we'll if we think it's good enough, we'll talk about it. We might even talk about it anyway because we need topics to talk about. So appreciate you guys being in the chat as always. Thank you so much for your support of the show. Thank you for your feedback. You guys have been giving me a lot of feedback. Trust me, I listen to every bit of it. I was telling Josh about some of it today. And we take that shit to heart, man. We really do. And we're really trying to find our voice of this show and to get it out there to people. Because I do think the overall message is important. I know we kind of get it.
I've become to like the comments. I mean, they're kind of fun to play off of. So the more comments we get, the better discussion we have. It may pull us off track.
I know you were kind of like, when I said podcast, you were never expecting all this.
Oh no, I thought it was going to be like, hey, let's write a program and like do I didn't think anything about being live. Live is a totally different animal, dude. Like you make mistakes, you say dumb shit, and people correct you, and I mean it's like real life for me.
It's real life. It's a fucking conversation.
Yeah, so
yeah, man. Like absolutely. Like when we forget the name of shit, and then Jason's in the chat hitting us with it, it's fucking great. Dude, when I did Blazing Defender, I would forget shit all the time. Be like, oh, you guys know, hit me in the comments, and I would move on to the next thing, and then there would be 3 comments of the name, So
the comments are pretty cool. I've learned to enjoy them and kind of adapted to following them and also talking. I think
so. And also, let me tell you this: you guys are part of a community. You guys are part of the Alpha Bro community. You may not know it, but you are, and we see a lot of the same names, which are great. We had a guy from Brazil a couple weeks ago. First time watching the show, he got in the comics, asked some really good questions. It's fantastic. You guys are part of the community too, because sometimes y'all talk amongst yourselves, which is great. We love that. That's part of the reason we do this show, is to start a conversation, and we can all kind of learn from each other. Now, we had some disagreement today in the chat, especially when it comes to CrossFit. And that's fun. That's part of it. Josh and I ain't mad. We love that shit.
No, I like it. It'd be boring if we all had the same ideas.
Audrey just texted me. She's like, "Hey, I'm sorry I had to give you so much shit." And I'm like, no. Don't be fucking sorry about that. I love it. Like that's life. That's how people communicate. Yeah. Well, we don't always have to agree, but we can always see each other's perspective.
And it's part of a thing that's lacking in our society today is the ability to disagree with people and still associate with them.
Right.
Like we're not canceling.
Audrey get fired now from her
we're
job
not canceling Audrey because she has shitty ideas. You know, we're not canceling her and taking her off of her podcast and blocking her because she thinks CrossFit's good. And that's part of this whole alpha persona that we're talking about and how people need to be. You know, I mean, all these, you know, we just had the Chauvin thing come out today. You know, I mean, and people are either in agreement or disagreement, but we all still have to live our daily lives together.
That's right.
So,
and we all got to get along.
Yeah, and we all have to get along and keep society clicking on and progression clicking on. So that's kind of what we're doing here in a small.
We just had a fucking shit year, over a year. I think we're going on 14 months now. You know, everybody wants to get back to normal. Everybody wants to get back to some semblance of normalcy. And this is where it happens. It happens with people understanding other people's perspectives, appreciating their point of view, and fucking moving on, man. And then maybe your mind changes. Maybe it don't. I see Audrey's points on CrossFit. It doesn't change my opinion.
Well, like I said, I mean, CrossFit has many positive. It's gotten a lot of people off the couch. That's a positive thing.
Positive.
I mean,
sure. They may have went to the emergency room as soon as they got off the couch. Hey, they got off the fucking couch. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Follow social media links for our next show. And hey guys, just remember, be nice to each other. Treat people like you'd want to be treated. And remember, always stay alpha. See you guys. Peace.